Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Monday, August 5, 2019 Sioux Falls City Council meeting. Clerk will go ahead and get started and read our roll, please.
Council members Nitzert.
Here.
Selberg.
Here.
Sale.
Here.
Starr.
Here.
Staley.
Here.
Brecky.
Here.
Erickson. Here. Kiley.
All right. This evening, we have Pastor Jamie McNamee with us from Celebrate Church. He's actually an intern in the youth ministry program at Celebrate Church. Going to be a senior at USF, and she's going to lead us in our invocation. So if you would rise for that, and then stay standing for our Pledge of Allegiance to immediately follow.
Awesome. If you guys would like to bow your heads with me. Father God, we just thank you for this day, and just thank you for an opportunity just to come and just hear the words of our council members here and just understand and learn just what's going on in our city of Sioux Falls, God. So right now, I just ask for your Holy Spirit just to come into this room right now and just be over our council members and even the audience and the people even watching at home too as well. God, I pray that just for understanding and peace too as well. And God, I pray just anything that was heavy on our hearts that was outside of these doors before we walked in. God, I pray that we just leave them out there and that we just walk into these rooms just with open hearts, open minds, and just an understanding of what does it take, what is it going to look like for you and just the city of Sioux Falls, just to come together as one, to unite and just understand the issues and just maybe new solutions that we are looking forward to the future of this city. So we just thank you for this day. And again, God, I just ask us for your presence to be here in this meeting with our council members. God, and I also just bless us for safety as we leave these buildings tonight, just to go homes and just have a great night, which was with family or friends or whatever we have planned for us tonight, God. So we just thank you in advance for everything that you have for us. And we pray all this in your son's holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll move on to item 4, which is our consent agenda, and look for any changes or motions on that.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Selberg.
All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Starr.
Yes, if I could, I'd like to pull items 10 through 17.
All right. Any other changes? All right, seeing none, we'll take a vote on that, please.
Council members Nitzert.
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that's passed 7-0. We'll move on to our regular agenda, and we'll look for any changes or motions to that.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Selberg.
All right, move to approve by Erickson and seconded by Selberg. Any discussion on that one, council? We'll call for a vote on that, please.
Council members Nitzert.
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that is passed 7-0. We're at the public input portion of tonight's agenda. As a reminder, input during this portion will last no more than 3 minutes per person, and in total lasts no more than 30 minutes. During general public input, the public is welcome to speak on a topic that does not appear later on in the agenda. For regular agenda items following general public input, comments are limited to 3 minutes unless the item is being presented for final adoption, in which case public input is limited to 5 minutes. For all regular agenda items, comments are limited to the agenda item under consideration only. At this time, I'd like to invite anyone forward for general public input. Clerk, please note our time is 7:04. Good evening.
Bruce Danielson, Sioux Falls. This afternoon, our new group triple-checked the charter, had a press conference downtown, introducing the rest of the community to a new petition drive that will allow for a special election to be held concerning 3 items. all involving our elections, our legislature, and budget. The idea behind Triple Check the Charter is the ability to return our elections to a simple plurality. The second item is the mayor has plenty to do over on 9th Street, and we think that the city council should be its own legislative body. Towns that are over 50,000 in the United States usually have the mayor step aside from the responsibilities on the councils or on the city commissions, and that's what we're planning to do. And as a prime example of things that can go wrong, that have been going wrong for quite some time in this town with our bonding. We believe that the bonding for the future should all be by supermajority. 6 members of this body would have to decide that it's the good thing to do is to bond. We learned a lesson recently with the situation over at Lifescape, where there was multiple attempts to bring back the same issue, strong arming that was going on, even from the public's point of view, some recriminations that were happening because people wouldn't do what was laid out in a very simple form, that a third time that it came before this body, it was finally decided to work together and find a good way to do this with the support of most of that neighborhood. And Lifescape today has a parking lot. We still have a street. There are decisions that can be made in the future, and we believe that this body should be able to figure out a way to work together. We'll be getting the website up and running here in a couple days to fully put this together, but we do have the petitions that are ready to go, and we plan to get them circulated in the community, and hopefully within about a month, we'll be set up to do a special election. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening? Good evening.
Good evening. So I'm David Zokaitis, and I've got kind of 2 related items, but we're going to break them up into 2 sections because the public input is the general background, and then when I get to agenda item 45, we'll talk about things there. So I'm going to talk about floodplain management. We've got some basic definitions here. A floodway is kind of along a river where you have some high velocity floodwaters. That's where you might get an ice dam that could, say, move a pedestrian bridge like what happened on Skunk Creek. A floodplain is floodwaters taking it easy and hanging back in the backwoods. And a 100-year flood is an important thing because that's what we use for zoning. And base flood elevation is the elevation of those 100-year floods. Now, for zoning as such, the city requires your base flood elevation plus 2 feet for most building uses. So here's a picture of all that. You've got your normal river elevation down there and maybe a basement and base flood elevation, and main floor's got to be a little bit higher, and that extra 2 feet gives you a little bit of safety. Now, some reasonable guidelines for floodplain management are not building in the actual river, because people do crazy things like that. And rivers need space for flooding. And we've got problems in this culture where we over-confine rivers with too many levees. And when those things leak, you've got major disasters. And one thing to note is that with global warming, the 1% floodplain is a historical trend, not a future prediction, because it's getting worse. We've got some bad practices. There's too many levees, not enough release valves, and corked up rivers. Now, what really bugs me is sometimes we get people that build in flood-prone areas, and then they get a government bailout that helps developers and repair workers and owners. I don't like that kind of strategy. If it's bad, you want to take all the risk, go ahead, but don't expect a government bailout. And that's about it for this part, from good background, and then we get to agenda item 45. We'll talk about that zoning request.
Okay, thank you, David. Anyone else this evening for general public input? All right, clerk, next item, please.
Mayor, the next item are 8 items from item 1, sub-items 10 through 17. The department is Parks and Recreation for parkland acquisition, offer to purchase real estate at 220 West Lotta Street, 200 West Rose Street, 316 West Rose Street, 300 West Lotta Street, 304 West Rose Street, 217 West Rose Street, 313 West Rose Street, and 305 West Rose Street.
All right, thank you. Counselor Starr?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to pull these items, so if there's anybody here from the public that are involved that wanted to have a chance to talk about them before we vote, that would be awesome. That's as much as I have, so.
Great. What we'll plan to do, council, is probably vote on these in one fell swoop, all 10 through 17, all in one vote. But if there are people here from the public who do wish to speak on this topic, you can sure come forward at this time. Good evening.
Mike Foster from 305 West Rose. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Foster?
No, I just like, my daughter hasn't been able to come home in over 5 months now, and I just like this over with. And like to be able to go on with my life. That's pretty much all I got to say.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Anyone else care to speak on this topic tonight?
Mr. Mayor, I'd move to approve items 10 through 17.
Okay.
Second, Brecky.
All right, motion by Counselor Starr, seconded by Brecky on that. Have any discussion on this item, council? All right, we'll take a vote then, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Elberg, Sale,
Yes.
Starr,
Yes.
Staley,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Next item.
Item 37, transfer of 2019 retail liquor license from Corner Pocket of Sioux Falls Incorporated, Corner Pocket 301 South Thompson Avenue to Dave & Buster's of South Dakota Incorporated, Dave & Buster's 2690 South Lorraine Place, full-service restaurant, CUP not required, pending final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 38, new 2019 retail wine and cider license and new 2019-20 retail malt beverage South Dakota Farm wine license for Black Events and Advertising Incorporated, Escapades 3509 South Norton Avenue, CUP not required, pending permit issuance and final inspections per Fire, Health, and Building Services. Item 39, special one-day malt beverage and special one-day wine licenses for Catering America, Chef Dominique's Catering to be operated at Vera Health, 6100 South Louise Avenue for a social on August 22nd, 2019. And item 40, special one-day wine licenses for Butterfly House and Aquarium, 4320 South Oxbow Avenue for adult night out on August 13th and September 12th, 2019.
Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening, Jamie Palmer with licensing. I'm here to answer any questions that you have on 37 through 40 and to also ask for an amendment to item 40 to change the September 12th date to September 13th due to a scheduling conflict that the Butterfly House had.
All right, great. Is there anyone from the public here to speak on any of these items tonight? Counselors, do you have any questions for Jamie on these? Counselor Erickson?
Maybe not necessarily for Jamie, but if the applicant is here for 37 from Dave & Buster's, just would like to have them come up and maybe talk a little bit about, well, my question is I see that you're getting a full retail liquor license versus the restaurant license, and so I'm just a little curious about the two different licenses that we have. And then maybe just talk a little bit about this. I think it's an exciting time for our community, and we've long awaited your arrival.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for hearing our application tonight. My name is Jill Valkovic. I'm with Dave & Buster's. I'm their regulatory manager, and I handle all these public hearings. Yes, of course, we're very excited to be here. It's our first store in South Dakota, which is why I'm here and excited to answer questions. You might be able to help us a little bit on why we chose this license type.
We had to go with a full liquor license because of the way that the regulations are written right now. The Department of Revenue came out with a declaratory ruling that basically contradicts what the statute presently says for restaurant licenses. They technically would qualify for a restaurant license based upon their liquor to non-liquor sales for food, but because of the way it's worded, we have to include the sales of the games from the games that they have in that lump sum to meet that 60 to 40% requirement. And so they don't qualify anymore because they put them in. When clearly the intent, and if you read the declaratory ruling from the Department of Revenue, it says that. And I know that the city attorney's office is working with the state and the Department of Revenue to clarify that issue so that this doesn't happen again in the future. Fortunately, we were able to come across a liquor license that came up for sale. And so that's why we are going this route.
Right.
They don't actually, they would normally not need it, and the restaurant liquor license actually would be a perfect fit for them, but because of the way the statute was revised in 2008 from the 2007 ruling, which was against the intent, we don't qualify presently. They wouldn't qualify presently. So.
Interesting. Thank you for the explanation, because that was part of it where, I mean, I know those liquor license, the full liquor license are quite the hot commodity off market, that if you can buy a restaurant license, it comes with more regulation. However, the cost is probably a little less expensive than the other potentially could be. But thanks for that. And again, welcome to Sioux Falls. We're excited to have you here. Thank you.
Councilors, any other questions for the reps while we have them here? Councilor Neitzer.
Can you give me a little bit of a lay of the land of where it's actually going to sit in Lake Lorraine? Are we backing up to the interstate, or?
Pull that up for you. So if you know where the current building, what we call Building A with Home Goods, Hobby Lobby, second to that is going to be attached Building B. Then there's the next strip mall center. We call that Building C. Just lying southwest of there is going to be Lot 5. You can see it. That's where the building's actually going to be. So you can be able to see it. On the other side of Lot 5 is going to be where the hotel space is. I can pull up the, see that on there? So I can turn it correctly. So here's where the Interstate 29 is. And Building A is up here. Building C is down here. It'll be right on the corner, right along Lorraine Place. Okay. If that helps visually.
Nice. And I haven't been to one. I've heard a lot about it. Can you just give us a little bit of what it includes? I mean, you know, like what kind of experience you're going to have there?
Of course. So as you can imagine, the games are what sets us apart, but we offer a full offering of eat, drink, play, watch, all under one roof. So you have a full service menu, a full bar offering, a sports lounge, and then a full gaming arcade. When in this location is 19,000 square feet, and so you'll have a separate lounge area with the typical dining setting, and then you'll have kind of some flex seating where you can sit along the edge of the arcade, and then there's a bar kind of in the middle, and so when you walk in the door, you can see how your experience will unfold. We will have about 150 to 180 games, even though in our application it says up to 200 games. We typically spend over $1 million on games in each location. So it's quite the experience, and we'll flip them around. Once a quarter, we'll bring in new games and new experiences. It's a lot of fun.
And do the games run the gamut for all age ranges, kids all the way up?
Oh, yes, definitely. All kids, all ages. It's great. One of the things that we have is a minors policy, and so anyone under the age of 18 can't come in without a parent or guardian or someone at least 25 years or older. So we have plenty of games for everyone that's coming into our location.
What is your target opening date?
We're hoping Q3 of 2020. It takes us a while to fit the building. I think they're going to build the building for us, and then we take over the construction.
Well, my daughter is about to turn 11, and she's grown out of a certain other one, so she'll be looking forward.
She will not grow out of us.
This will probably be right up her alley.
Yes.
Awesome, thanks.
Any other questions for the Dave & Buster's reps while we have them up here? All right, thank you, guys.
Make a motion to approve items 37 through 40.
Second, Brecky.
All right, motion to approve items 37 to 40.
And I'll make a motion to amend item 40 by replacing September 12th, 2019 with September 13th, 2019.
Okay, do I have a second on that?
Second, Brecky.
Second on Brecky. Let's vote on that amendment, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Elberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Star.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, so we have the amended main motion. Any further discussion on that? Then we will vote on that, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Elberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Star.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. Next item, please.
Item 41, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property near 61st Street and Seville Place from the CN Conservation District to the RD2 Townhome Residential Suburban District, number 10486-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 5-0.
Good evening, Jason Bieber representing Planning and Development Services. This is an application in the owner's Empire Homes. It's located south of East 57th Street and west of South Sycamore Avenue. It's about 0.20 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing a 4-unit townhome on the property.
All right, thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item tonight? Council, you have questions for Jason on this one? Look for a motion on it.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Selberg.
Move to approve by Erickson and seconded by Selberg. Any discussion on this, council? We'll take a vote, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Elberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Star.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. Item 42.
Item 42, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning a portion of property located near the southwest corner of East Linden Lane and South Gordon Drive from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, number 10359-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 6-0.
The applicant here is Ryan Tisdale. The owner is Jerry Berg. It's located at the southwest corner of East Arrowhead Parkway and South Gordon Drive. It's about 0.51 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing a retail strip center. They will be required the level C buffer yard along the south and the east property line, and that does include the 4-foot berm or 6-foot fence and the 40 units of landscaping for every 100 lineal feet.
Thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public care to speak on this topic here tonight? All right, council, you have any questions for Jason on this one? Councilor Nitzert?
In the graphic in the back, I assume that's probably employee parking most likely. When I say in the back, that would be to the south. That's not a drive-through there, is it? Or is that just like a service store?
Oh, there is a drive-through on that east side and on the west side, but the parking in the back typically in these strip centers are usually for the employees.
Okay, but this little depiction next to the loading zone, that's not a drive-through window right there? The drive-throughs
No.
are on the east and west only?
West and east elevations have a drive-through, or a proposed drive-through at this time, depending on the tenants.
Okay, thanks.
Other questions, council? Look for a motion on this one.
Move to approve, Brecky.
Second, Sale.
All right, motion approved by Brecky and seconded by Sale. Any discussion, council? We will take a vote.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Star.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. Next item, please.
Item 43, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located near 57th Street and Old Yankton Trail from the RS Single Family Residential Suburban District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, number 10360-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends approval 5-0.
The applicant here is also Ryan Tisdale. The owner is 57th Street Project LLC. It's located at south of West 57th Street and west of Old Yankton Road, just east of our bike path. The purpose of this rezoning is they're looking at rezoning roughly 0.04 acres and then include it as part of the existing commercial area to the east and construct a new retail strip center.
All right, thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public care to speak on this one tonight? Council, do you have any questions for Jason? Look for a motion on this, please.
Move to approve, Sale.
Second, Nitzert?
All right, motion approved by Sale and seconded by Nitzert. Is there any discussion on it? We will take a vote.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Elberg?
Yes.
Sale?
Yes.
Star?
Yes.
Staley?
Yes.
Brecky?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. We'll move to item 44.
Item 44, second reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning a portion of property near East 18th Street and South Veterans Parkway from the O Office C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar and C3 Commercial Community Districts to the LW Live Work and C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar Districts, number 10493-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 5-0.
The applicant and owner here is Bill Dolly. It's north of East 26th Street, south of East 18th Street, and west of South Veterans Parkway. It's about 10.84 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant's looking at constructing a large office building.
Thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item tonight? Council, do you have any questions for Jason? Councilor Neitzer?
So it is zoned office already. Are they looking for more flexibility that they could do some residential as well? Is that what's going on, or?
It's zoned office, and then they're actually going to realign, I believe it's, sorry, I forgot the name of the street there. Gosh, I forgot the name of the street, excuse me. Highline, Highline. They're going to realign that, so they needed to rezone some of that commercial to the live work. And the reason why they're going to live work is that their proposed office building is looking like it's right at the 60,000 square foot, maybe a little more, so they need to get up to that BCF3 form.
Got it, they need the form, okay.
Yep.
Any other questions for Jason on this one? Councilor Staley?
I just have this just has to do with the Dolly Farm itself. Forgive me for asking, but is there a chance that they're ever going to reevaluate that and have more of an access point into that off of Veterans Parkway? Because the way it is now, it's...
That's about all they're going to have off Veterans Parkway. As you know, that's a limited access, pretty much highway. 18th Street is what they'd have, and then eventually it's hopefully going to connect to Foss Avenue on the west and get up by Walmart. They're starting to develop in there, so hopefully it'll make a connection. And then West 18th Street, as it goes to the west, will eventually connect to that neighborhood.
Really? That's going to go all the way through?
Eventually, yep, once they start constructing it, but that's kind of the plan for out there.
Thank you.
Other questions related to this topic for Jason? All right, look for a motion, please.
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second, Sale.
Motion approved by Erickson and seconded by Sale. Is there a discussion among the council? We'll call a vote, please.
Council members Neitzer?
Yes.
Elberg?
Yes.
Sale?
Yes.
Star? Yes. Staley?
Yes.
Brecky?
Yes.
Erickson?
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. Item 45.
Item 45, second reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property located east of Interstate 229 and north of East Rice Street from the CN Conservation District to the I-1 Light Industrial District, number 10497-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 5-0.
The applicant here is Greg Rubin. The owner is Doris Rubin. It's located at the northeast corner of Interstate 229 and East Rice Street. The applicant was originally, this is the original application. They were looking at rezoning roughly 25.29 acres from the conservation area to the light industrial area. Since first reading, Albert in our office has worked with the applicant to actually keep the existing floodway and keep that CN conservation since they're unable to develop. The applicant has agreed to that. So the new ordinance, a new exhibit in front of you would be this one, where they would be rezoning only 16.39 acres to I-1, and they would keep that existing 8.9 acres, which is in the floodway. That would stay as CN conservation. So.
Got it. Thanks, Jason. Anyone from the public here to speak on this item? I believe Mr. Zalkaitis.
Well, this is a little off kilter tonight because my discussion is based on the first reading and not the second reading. So for what it's worth, here's some information based on the original proposal. So what we're trying to do, what the requester wants to do is to convert from conservation to light industrial. And the goal for that would be to do some construction in the floodway and on the floodplain. I don't see a whole lot of value in trying to build in the floodway, much too risky. And even in the floodplain, there's an elevation of 20 feet from where the ground is now to where you could possibly build your ground floor. So there's the property. You can see the river up in the top. There's a lot of water in this area. It looks like it would be kind of impractical to build much of anything. But the top third in particular, a floodway, should not be rezoned ever. Just too dangerous. And trying to understand the motivation of the Planning Commission in which they unanimously approved that particular change. It makes no sense to me. I don't see why the Planning Commission would possibly make any preliminary steps toward approving construction in a floodway. Makes no sense. So I think whatever in the Planning Commission would create such a bad decision, I think we should fix the Planning Commission so that they make more environmentally sound decisions. And I've heard through the grapevine that the city wants to build or wants to buy part of this property, and I'm trying to find the reason for that also. There's supposed to be a bikeway to Great Bear, but that's on the other side of the river, and there are no definite plans to put a park in this general vicinity. So why does the city want to buy it? I'd like to know why. And particularly, I was wondering why the city would want to buy it after it was rezoned, but that's kind of irrelevant for tonight's reading. And I had a number of recommendations for floodplain management and for this site in particular. I think that we should, as a city and a country, prevent excessively risky construction. We should avoid subsidizing construction in floodways and floodplains. We need to keep rivers safe for flooding so they don't damage our cities. And I'd like to know why the city wants to buy the property. I also think that in general, we should change zoning so that it's impractical or not allowed to design a garage so that it floods. If you look at considerations now, you can have the rivers down here and there's this space below BFE plus 2 feet. And you can put a garage or storage in there, but that just means you're planning for it to flood. I don't think that's a good design. I think we should change zoning to be more restrictive and to allow rivers to be more free so that they are safer for our cities. And good evening.
Thank you, David. Anyone else here to speak on this topic tonight? All right, Council, do you have questions for Jason? I'll start with Councilor Neitzer.
Yeah, I appreciate the concern, but I would want to clarify for the public, and I think I'll get this right. Regardless of what a property is zoned, you still have to get a building permit, and you're not going to get a building permit issued in a floodway. We can't issue that. So the floodplain administrator would say it's in a floodway. It doesn't matter what it's zoned, you can't build on it, period. So if he zoned it I-1, it would be undevelopable anyway. This just makes it more accurate, but the BFE applies in the floodplain, not in the floodway. You can never build in a floodway.
Thank you. Any other questions for Jason? Look for some motion on this item.
Move to approve, Neitzer.
Second, Erickson.
All right, motion approved by Neitzer, seconded by Erickson. Discussion amongst council. Councilor Neitzer.
I'll make a motion to amend by substituting ordinance 0032 with ordinance 0322 and attached exhibit.
Second, Erickson.
All right. Some cleanup language there. Motion by Neitzer, seconded by Erickson. I'll take a vote on that amendment.
Council members Neitzer,
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. So we're on to the amended motion as is on the floor. Any other discussion? We'll take a vote on it then, please.
Council members Neitzer.
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, passes 7-0. Item 46.
Item 46, second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota rezoning a portion of property located at 3209 North Wayland Avenue from the RD1 Twin Home Duplex Residential Suburban District to the C2 Commercial Neighborhood and Streetcar District, number 9847-2019, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. Planning Commission recommends approval 6-0.
The applicant here is Dean Jasper. It's located at 3209 North Wayland Avenue. It's about 0.97 acres in size. The purpose of this rezoning is the applicant is looking at constructing a screened parking lot in combination with his abutting property to the west, which he does motor vehicle sales and repair, I believe. He did hold 2 neighborhood meetings, one on March 18th that had 23 people and one on June 16th that only 2 attended. Some of those concerns were noise, light pollution, traffic patterns, stormwater, that it was going to be a junkyard, and et cetera. City does feel that the applicant has addressed most of those concerns of the neighbors. This proposed parking lot will not have access to the east into the existing residential neighborhood of Norton. He has done a good job providing the buffer yards as well as a proposed BMP that should handle additional stormwater runoff from this project.
Thank you, Jason. Anyone from the public wish to speak on this topic tonight? Good evening.
Yeah, I'm Dave Underberg. I live up in 1420 East 29th Street North up by there. My concern is I've heard from the first meeting, a real good friend of mine has got 5 flags out over there, right up next to their shop. And he helps Norton Acres all over, because Norton Acres ain't got a lot of money in them people. He sells cars for $400, $500, $600 and helps everybody around Norton Acres out. And he's going to be thrown out of there now, I guess, because that's supposed to be a body shop and a washout area where he's at. And I don't think we should have a body shop in that right next to the highway right there. That's my one concern. My other concern is he's going to have that salvage deal where once it's zoned there, he's going to be able to put any car he wants in that place. And they're going to be bringing some in, they're going to be damaged cars. That's why he's got a body shop. And there's going to be more theft and all that in that area. And I've lived over there over 40-some years now, and we don't need something with a bunch of theft coming around now. That's what my main concern is. And I don't think, I got to speak for Norton Acres, nobody else is willing to do this. And I'm doing it for the rest of Norton Acres, and I don't think it should be there.
All right, thank you, Dave. Any other comments in the audience on this one tonight? All right, councilors, do you have questions for Jason on this item? Councilor Neitzer?
What state would automobiles be able to be in under this zoning? I mean, like crashed and...
Great question. Under the proposed commercial zoning, the vehicles that are stored here have to be operable. They cannot be unoperable. Those would be in the, if they wanted to do that, they would have to zone it to the I-1 and we'd call it a junkyard. So they have to be operable vehicles. They'd be able to run and that stuff to be stored on this lot in the zoning district.
Councilor Staley.
I'm hearkening back to another situation up there that Angela Kennecke actually went out and did a little story on. These people were told that the same thing. What happened out there? They were holding vehicles, they were sitting there rusting, collecting water, and I think you were involved with that, right? And the Kello and the residents were told, we can't go in there without sufficient cause. We can't just go in and do an inspection. So I guess, sorry that I didn't hear these concerns before, sir. This is the first time hearing that there's a problem from the, I mean, I didn't have any neighbors really contacting me. Bernie Schmidt reached out. But I can understand that their concern about, we can say that they can't have this, but what are you going to give them as reassurance that this same thing isn't going to happen? And also, I have another question for you. Buffer areas. Let's say, so you say, well, we're going to mandating they have this as the buffer area. What if a business doesn't do the buffer area, as we've been told they're going to? What do you go back, what ramifications do they have?
We have, so as part of their building permit, they're required to submit a landscape plan. Once the parking lot is constructed, we won't give them occupancy until their landscape plan has been is in, and zoning has gone out there and verified it. Now, if we run into applicants that don't do landscaping, then we do the citation process, or we can actually take them to court as we've done on some other ones. But we do have the ability to cite them and all that stuff to get their specific buffer yard. But the big carrot that we normally have is we do not give them the full certificate of occupancy until all of the landscaping is done. Some of these buildings you'll see where they move in, and those are temporary certificates. A lot of times the banks need the full certificate of occupancy, so that's really one of the biggest carrots we have to make sure that they do their landscaping.
But I know the dispute before was that word junkyard, salvage. And so the neighbors were saying that that other business was a junkyard. It was a salvage yard. And that, it was that terminology, which we're telling them now, this will not be that. And that one was that, and there was nothing that we could do about it.
Are you speaking about the insurance auto auction?
Yes.
And that property is zoned I-1. So that's a little bit of a different thing that allows junkyards. This property does not allow cars that are inoperable.
And so if this man sees there's a car that's been sitting, are they going to have like a limit? I know the other place was, they were told you can only be here for 90 days or something. There was a limit as to how long the vehicle could be on the premises. It couldn't be a storage place. So is there going to be a time limit if he sees vehicles coming in? What can they expect as residents to see that movement happening of inventory?
Well, they have to be operable, and if it's any motor vehicle sales, like billing, any of those, we don't mandate to them that they have to sell a car within 3 months. What we have is they have to be operable vehicles in there. They can't be junked vehicles sitting there storing. And I don't believe that's the applicant's intention.
Is the applicant here?
Yeah, he is here, and you could definitely ask him that question.
Let's have him come up.
Good evening.
Good evening, Council. My name is Dean Jasper, and I represent D&D Enterprise that owns the current property at this time. I have been in the local community for over 30 years, and I am involved with J&R Auto Sales on West 12th Street, also on East 10th Street, and the current location, which is on North Cliff, which is adjacent to this property that we're redeveloping. So I think the proof is in the pudding. You see what we do in this community, and you see our buildings, you see our inventory, and we work very hard to offer a product to the local community that is a vehicle that is in good condition, and our landscape, our property, and everything we do is, we feel, the best we can do. So saying that, I believe that in this redevelopment that we're doing, we have been at that location on North Cliff Avenue, which is just north of the current property that we had purchased from Five Flags Auto Sales, where that business was. It was from Leach Company. They were the corporate that owned it. In doing that, we had put in additional lighting. We had put in a camera system. We have put in more additional lighting. And when we came to that area, I think the city police department reports will show on an average of twice a month, they were having to come out for a theft issue. After we have continued to try to control that, help the local area out in controlling that theft, we feel and we know that his has gone down considerably since we arrived there. And that's exactly what we're doing in this redevelopment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Do you have questions for Dean while we got him up here?
Yeah, I have a question. Well,
Counselor Staley, I don't know if you guys,
I don't think
here.
I think
We'll go back to you then.
They were just having birthday fun. Okay. Dean, and this of course is going to be videoed, and I'll be there if this doesn't happen. But you're assuring this man here that this is not going to be any kind of a salvage yard. all the vehicles you're going to have on site are going to be workable and for sale, just like any other car lot. You're not going to have any kind of rummaging vehicles, remnants, holding tank kind of thing.
So let me give you a brief description. With vehicles that we own as a dealership, J&R Auto Sales, our repairs are very minor. Fenders, bumpers, scratches, et cetera, like that. In saying that, we do get vehicles that maybe have more damage, but those vehicles that are sitting there that are undrivable, let's say, for a period of a couple days because the tow truck bring them in, they are just scheduling to get the repairs done.
So they wouldn't be sitting there for more than how long? I mean,
well, I wouldn't,
months? Are you
yeah,
saying?
I couldn't put a date on that. It's just like all of us who go to an auto body or a mechanic shop, they tell us they're going to have it done in a couple days, and it can take, you know, additional days for that. But it's not going to be a holding facility or a facility that you as council members could come up and view vehicles that are damaged and then purchase them or something of that nature. This is a process. The company offers 300 used vehicles at all times. They are moving in and out of that facility on the north end right as we speak today. They're moving up to 50 cars a week that come in and out of there that just need a light detail, maybe are getting ready to go to auto body, et cetera, like that. Our process is very quick because we understand the profitability stands at the facility which they're being sold. So it's not going to be of any length.
What are going to be your hours of operation?
So what we're going to do is we're going to do an 8 to 6 p.m. We do get opportunities where somebody could bring in a vehicle after hours, but they'll have ability to just set that out where we can get it in the morning, but that would be our hours.
Because I know with the other situation, they were having trucks coming through during the middle of the night, bringing in loads of whatever vehicle parts or crashed vehicles or whatever. So we don't want that happening. And I'm telling you, sir, if this turns around to something different, you can come back. And you have a question? I'm going to ask that we allow this man to come back up. I'm requesting.
Are you done with Dean?
Well, for now, let's see what this guy has to say.
All right, sir, you can come forward. Councilor Steele has a question for you.
Okay, now, he says these cars are gonna be operable in that space. Okay. And then he's gonna take them over to that body shop. And they're gonna be tore down and they're gonna sit up there for a while. That's gonna be right along the highway up there. And how do we know, once he gets this all taken care of, how do we know that he ain't gonna bring cars that ain't operable and over that, into that place then? Once he gets all this stuff taken care of.
Sir, let me just say, this is on tape now. We've heard him say that this is going to be a situation, it's not going to be a salvage yard. These are going to be in the process of being fixed. And so if at any time, I'm just saying personally, if you see that this is turning into something different, you come back to me. I will help you. Because you people up there deserve to have the same respect that every other part of our community has, in my opinion. Your taxpayers, your residents, you matter.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Any other questions for either Jason or Dean, council?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second.
All right, second by Staley. Original approval by Erickson. Any discussion amongst the council on this one? Okay, we'll take a vote, please.
Council members Neitzer,
Yes.
Elberg.
Yes.
Sale.
Yes.
Starr.
Yes.
Staley.
Yes.
Brecky.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
All right, that passes 7-0. Item 47.
Item 47, a resolution amending the Shape Sioux Falls 2040 Comprehensive Plan.
Hey, Sam.
Good evening. Sam Trebilcock, Planning and Development. This evening, I'm asking for your approval of an amendment to the Shape Sioux Falls Comprehensive Plan, and specifically, it is the future land use and growth tier map updates. So there's 5 maps with this that we're looking at updating. 4 of those maps are within Chapter 2, and then 1 map is within Chapter 3. So what I'm showing you on each one of these maps, and as you might recall, this has come forward to you at 2 separate City Council informational meetings, and of course was also at Planning Commission in July. So the first map that we're changing is, has to do with, and all 4 maps, like I said, within Chapter 2, have to do about where and when development is going to occur within our growth area. And so the changes between the 2 maps, the one to the left is the existing map, and the one to the right is what we're proposing. You can see the changes we've highlighted on the proposed map. And this is the existing sanitary sewer availability map. Again, the areas that are in blue are the areas that are within the next 5 years. The areas that, I don't think there's any green on this one, but if it is, if you see any green, that is within the next 5 to 15 years. And then the areas in orange are the areas that would develop for sanitary sewer within the next 15 to 25 years. The next map is the existing water and roads map. And you can see what's existing on the left and then what's proposed on the right. Again, you can see some changes there. A lot of the changes there that are things that are rolling into our CIP eventually, or things that are, have we've noticed that we're trying to bring in from our long-range transportation plan, and we need to provide for infrastructure to provide into those future growth areas. Again, you can see the areas that are circled are the areas that have been changed between the 2 different maps. This map has quite a bit on it, but again, it's the public facilities and proposed ponds. The one on the left is the existing, the one on the right is the proposed. A lot of what this has on it is the schools, it has the drainage ways, detention ponds, it has the fire stations, libraries. Again, we updated this map to reflect some of the changes that we've highlighted in the other 2 maps. And then with the 4th map in this area, we bring all those maps together. The major change between these 2 maps, and I think we're showing them by all the different arrows, and I'll try to bring all those up, is really the area, the growth area that we're adding to the south. And you can kind of see that there near the T interchange and to the east along County 106. We're adding that growth area. We've seen quite a bit of development pressures into that area. So we want to start planning for that area as we start bringing, as we start moving into that and developing into that area. Some of the other things that you'll see is that we're starting to look at, if it's in blue, it's an area that we're starting to bring in and saying, hey, within the next 5 years, we can see the need for annexation within that 5-year period. We have it in the CIP, and so this is an area that we would see the next place for development to occur in the city. So the 5th map, again within Chapter 3, is our future land use map. So we just wanted to be consistent with the growth areas. Again, there you'll see the areas that we've added. And then we added 1 employment center that was kind of missed up in the northeast part of the area as a business park, but we added those, that growth area to the south and to the west. And then also added some employment centers to that area to reflect that new growth area. So that kind of shows the 5 maps that we'd be changing. The public involvement I kind of referenced earlier. Again, Planning Commission public hearing. We're having a City Council public hearing here tonight. We also, as a part of this, sent out additional public notification. In part, that's the reason that we talked to you at City Council informational, to make sure we were gaining public, adequate public involvement in this process. We also emailed our county planning directors. No responses were received in those areas with those notifications, but we certainly did make that attempt. With that, I would take any questions you have.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone from the public here to speak on this topic tonight? Counselors, do you have questions for Sam on this?
Move to approve, Erickson.
Second Salberg.
All right, a motion approved by Erickson, seconded by Selberg. Counselors, do you have discussions on this one? All right, I'd call for a vote then, please.
Council members Nitzert,
Yes.
Selberg.
Yes.
Sale,
Yes.
Star,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Brecky,
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Next item, please.
Item 48, report of the July 19, 2019 Notice of Transfer of Appropriations within major organizational units.
Counselors, is there any new business?
Move to adjourn, Star.
Second, Brecky.
All right, I was hoping someone would want to do that. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed, no. All right, we are adjourned. Have a good night.